A third of LGBTQ plus staff feel their identity has negatively impacted careers. New research by Randstad reveals ongoing workplace discrimination against LGBTQ plus individuals. The Workmonitor Pulse survey, polling over 2,000 LGBTQ plus employees globally, found that 41% face discrimination and 33% believe their sexuality or gender identity hindered their career progression. Alarmingly, 29% of queer employees felt compelled to quit due to these issues. The reality is that any minority anywhere faces obstacles. In real macho communities, women face obstacles. In places where racism is rampant, people of color face obstacles. We are no different.
Yeah.
And I think that all of those other communities, women, people of color, etc., are in our community, and therefore we are going to face many, many obstacles because our community is as diverse as it is. And we all know that if you're not part of what is perceived to be the mainstream, there's going to be opposition because you're a threat to their holding power and their jobs. And that's scary for a lot of people, mostly because of ignorance.
That is the story of my 16-year aviation career, where I ascended into basically running part of the airline. And my intersectionality was, I was the only of all of those things.
Wow. And
faced rampant discrimination, rampant, I ran to, HR was my friend at one point. And I'm a part of the 29% of those people who had to voluntarily leave due to these things. And it's not talked about enough because if you're not of the, like you said, the mainstream, then you're unprofessional. No matter what I did, I was unprofessional. The way I looked was unprofessional.
Well, I find that hard to believe.
Everything I said
you look
was
good.
Continuously unprofessional. It's actually what came to the head of my departing my last career,
Wow.
Before the turning.
You living that, Jamal, and for not like a couple of years, for a long time, because that was the career path that you had thought would be your career path for the rest of your life, you know, and then to have to say, this isn't worth it anymore. I have to walk away from this after 16 mother effing years. Like, that's, you know, I remember being on radio, one of my first jobs, right, out after college, and I was told, stay in the closet. You know, you're a pretty girl. If you stay in the closet, you'll get farther in this, right? And I was just like, F you, I am who I am. My very first job, they wanted me to be straight on radio, you know? And it was like, okay, millions of people want this job. Do you do it, right? Or do you say, no, I'm bigger than this? I did it. And I'm sad to say that I did it, you know, because I just didn't think that opportunity would come again. That's why I think that this is way larger than just 1/3 of our, of LGBTQ.
Absolutely.
I think for sure it's greatly higher.
It's just that you don't know because there's so many other variables. You don't know what is under the rug. That they're saying that they're pulling this and they're pulling this and they're pulling that. And that's the trick and that's why it's so hard to prove these kind of discriminatory cases. It's not age, it's not gender, it's not sexual orientation, it's you don't dot I's. And that really is a deal breaker for us. You're not dotting I's.
Or you're too vocal. Which was in my case. I was too vocal.
It could be, right.
Causing trouble.
I was causing trouble.
Causing trouble.
I was causing trouble, and I was a threat. A violent threat.
Oh, violent.
Oh, yes, I was a violent threat.
I can see that.
Ridiculousness. Ridiculous. We need more studies like this to find out stories like this, because these are our common stories. This is something that every gay person, every LGBTQ plus person has encountered in some way, shape, or form.
100% relate. And I was on the opposite end of the spectrum. I didn't want to cause trouble, so the silencing plays a number on your psychological well-being. And so you lose either way. If you speak out, if you don't. I didn't, and that sort of damaged me psychologically. But therapy is a great resource.
That's why people run to bars
100%.
because that's where you feel
safe.
fellowship and you feel others like you.
Especially when there was no other place.
Yeah.
You all grew up when there were other places to some degree. But when I was young, that was it. I mean, I still remember, and my parents were fine and everything. And a few of my friends had Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house. And we got in that car and we went immediately to the village. And we went to a bar. We didn't have to stay long, but we just needed to feel gaydar.
Yeah. And you could take the guy with you, so you don't have to stay long.